From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Monday morning. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
Lauren, good morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez, and these are your headlines on this November the 2nd.
How do we help this fatigued staff stop the spread of the infectious virus inside of these facilities? Because this is our most vulnerable population.
Hundreds of National Guard members will deploy to long-term care facilities across our state today. Details on their mission to help stop the spread of COVID-19.
Early voting in Indiana ends today. What you need to know if you still want to cast your vote before Election Day.
Welcome to you on this Monday. This is November the 2nd, right here on Good Morning Indiana. Lauren, welcome back. As always, we want to thank our good friend Nicole Griffin for filling in. But what a weekend, really windy.
Yes, oh my goodness. Yesterday it was windy and then it got cold. Todd, I don't even know if it was that cold or I'm just not used to it yet. But I thought, oh, this is frigid. It feels like winter out here.
Yeah, you know, it was a little bit of a shock to the system. Halloween was so nice with that sunshine and temperatures near 60, and then that front came through. And yesterday temperatures slowly fell, but the wind made it feel like it was in the 30s. And this morning, winter has really settled in for just a brief appearance. That is the good news. Temperatures this morning sitting in the 20s anywhere you go. 25 in Lafayette, 27 is the current temperature in Indy as well as Bloomington. Wind chill values in the teens here in some locations. 18 is what it feels like in Lafayette as well as Peru. 19 is what it feels like in Indy. There's just a little bit of high thin cloud cover out there this morning. That'll burn off pretty quickly and we'll be left with almost completely sunny skies throughout the day today. We have some lake effect snow off to our east, but that is just about it. It's a little on the cool side today. We're still in the 20s here through sunrise, and then once the sun comes up, temperatures eventually will be topping off in the upper 40s this afternoon with sunshine and light winds. Today's the coolest day of this upcoming week. More on the rest of your forecast in just a few minutes, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's get a look at traffic right now. If you are heading out the door early on this Monday, this is a live look up on the north side at I-465 and Meridian Street. Things there are pretty quiet still at this early hour. Right now, I'm not monitoring any crashes around the metro area. Great news if you do have to head to work right now. Let's begin this midday with the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and the impact it's having here on the Hoosier State. State health officials report another 2,787 cases of COVID-19. It's a slight drop from the previous 3 days when more than 3,000 cases of the virus were reported each day. October saw the record high day of new cases so far. To date, more than 182,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. Health officials also report an additional 28 deaths. Those happened between October 21st and October 31st. Since March, 4,124 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. And as COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations continue to rise here, we are keeping a close eye on our hospital resources across the state. As of this morning, nearly 31% of the ICU beds remain available. That's a slight increase in capacity. We've also remained in good shape when it comes to ventilators. More than 77% of the state's ventilators are still available. Raphael.
So, Lauren, the Indiana National Guard will be deployed beginning today at nursing homes across our state. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with their mission in their fight against COVID-19. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So more than 400 National Guardsmen are ready to go. They are trained and they are ready to go and help the state stop the spread of COVID-19 in long-term care facilities. Now, the Guardsmen gathered at Camp Atterbury to learn about everything from registration and testing to infection control procedures and visitation protocol on Friday. Residents at nursing homes have been hit hard by COVID-19, making up nearly 60% of the state's deaths. Nursing homes have struggled with staffing shortages, which is why the state is sending the National Guard to help starting today.
They're going to help the staff through things like wellness checks at entrance points, taking temperatures, monitoring compliance for CDC guidelines, helping to sanitize compartments, those kinds of things that will actually allow the staff to focus their energy and their effort on our most vulnerable population.
We're here to help people, so we have to understand the people we're helping, the situations they're in, so that we can help them to the best of our abilities and support the CDC.
Indiana National Guardsmen will work in 133 long-term care facilities, and eventually they'll expand to 1,350 guardsmen at all of the state's 534 long-term care facilities. Now, according to the state, these soldiers will be tested for COVID-19 before they go to their facilities, and then periodically throughout their stay at these facilities as they are working again to help stop that spread of COVID-19. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Here at 5:04, we are just one day away from the election. And if you're planning to head to the polls today or tomorrow, there are some things you need to keep in mind. First, be careful what you wear. Indiana law prohibits electioneering at polling places. That means you can't wear anything with a name, picture, or likeness of any current or hopeful elected official. You also are not allowed to wear anything with the name of any political party. If you do show up to the polls wearing clothing deemed against the election law, the election workers can ask you to change. Turn your shirt inside out, cover the words that are pictures up before coming in to cast your vote. Also, a reminder, early voting ends today at noon, so you'll want to make sure that you're in line before then if you want to vote today. Finally, Election Day, the polls open at 6 a.m. Absentee ballots, those are due by noon, and the polls close at 6 p.m. So as long as you're in line by 6 p.m., you will be able to cast your vote.
So, Lauren, here's something that's really helpful for all voters. The downtown Indianapolis postal branch will offer again a drive-through service so that you can drop off your ballots today. Now, starting at 3 o'clock today, you can hand your ballot directly to a postal employee, this at 125 West South Street in downtown Indianapolis. That site will be open until 10 this evening. Employees then date stamp the ballot and send it to be sorted and prepared to send to the appropriate election board.
We're doing this because we want to make sure that every voter has an opportunity to get their ballot in. We know a lot of people waited to the last minute for various reasons. Maybe they were just, trying to make their decision, and we want to make sure that we're here for them.
So the goal here, the ballots will be delivered in time to be counted for you. Now, get this, on Tuesday, the Postal Service at that same branch will offer drive-through service again, but from 8 until 10 in the morning. It's important to note, though, that the Tuesday service is only for Marion County voters. So, again, today is for everyone, tomorrow just for Marion County voters. Lauren?
Raphael, a reminder for registered voters, again, you do need a valid photo ID in order to cast your ballot. So starting today, the BMV is extending its hours to help voters that maybe need a license or ID card. Branches will be open from 8:30 a.m. until 8 p.m. On Tuesday, they'll be open from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. Indiana BMV provides free state-issued ID cards for voting purposes to any unlicensed Hoosier who is 18 years old and a U.S. citizen. We have live coverage of everything happening tomorrow on Election Day Live. It's right here on WRTV. That includes a look at all the key races. Plus, we'll have analysis and results as soon as they come in. Look for us on the WRTV app on your favorite streaming device. That includes Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV. Let's get a look at our forecast for today for the kiddos heading out to the bus stop. Todd, what do they need to wear?
They need to bundle up. Hat, gloves, and the heavy coat required here this morning, Lauren. Probably really for the first time this fall season, because temperatures have dipped down into the 20s all across central Indiana, and there's still just a little bit of wind out there. It's nothing like what we saw yesterday with those really gusty winds and much of the area under a wind advisory, but wind chills this morning still anywhere from 15 to about 25 degrees. As the kids come home from school, though, we're in much better shape. Mostly sunny skies, still below normal at 47 degrees, but today is the coolest day that we'll have this entire week. Our average high now is 59, so we're obviously below that for the day today, but look what happens the rest of the week. We will be above normal, and in fact, as we get towards the weekend, high temperatures all the way up close to 70 degrees. Start making those outdoor plans now. We'll talk more about that extended forecast for you in detail coming up in just a few minutes.
You heard Todd, grab that jacket. COVID cases are on the rise in the U.S., and doctors say things may get worse before they get better. How the news is affecting the final push from President Trump and Joe Biden on the campaign trail.
With many Americans still out of work, some are feeling the negative stigma of being unemployed, but some experts say you shouldn't be ashamed. Just after the break, why they say you should actually be talking more about your job status. It's 5:09. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Welcome back. It is 5:12. We are following breaking news this morning. Metro Police say that a person is dead after a shooting near downtown. Police were called out to East New York Street between Alabama and New Jersey streets. That's just east a little bit of Mass Ave. Officers say they found a person there dead of a gunshot wound when they arrived at the scene, and that's all we know from police so far. We will continue to follow that story, and we'll have more information for you just as soon as it comes into our newsroom here. Raphael, President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden spent the final weekend of 2020 on the road campaigning.
And Lauren, one of the major issues this political season, of course, has been the COVID-19 pandemic, as you know. According to Johns Hopkins University, since January, there have been more than 9.2 million confirmed cases in our country and more than 230,000 deaths. And some doctors say we may see 2,000 deaths a day in just a few weeks. This as President Trump appears to suggest that firing Dr. Anthony Fauci, a member of the White House's coronavirus task force. Meanwhile, Joe Biden continues to attack the president's response to the pandemic.
Don't tell anybody, but let me wait till a little bit after the election.
We're going to act to get COVID under control. It's almost criminal the way he has handled it.
At least 31 states set a record in October for their highest number of new COVID-19 cases, according to data from Johns Hopkins University.
It is 5:13. Supporters of President Donald Trump took the interstates across the country on Sunday afternoon. The so-called Trump train event saw supporters of the president take to the streets even right here in the Circle City. Supporters drove around Interstate 465 honking horns and waving Trump flags. Then they made their way to downtown to Monument Circle. The show of support lasted hours, but eventually it ended after police blocked off part of the circle, stopping the supporters from making rounds.
No problems. There was no problems on the interstate. Not that we seen. Did you guys see any?
No, we had a bunch of people on the overpasses waving us on. There was multiple people stopped on the side of the road.
You had your few people that would give us a finger, would yell at us. That's all I can do. They want to hate me because of who I support. I can't control that, but I love them, so it's okay.
Supporters of the president were not the only people out in this caravan. We also noticed some supporters of Biden and Harris as well. Raphael?
Lauren, this morning the FBI investigating the actions of Trump supporters in Texas who reportedly swarmed a Joe Biden campaign bus. A Biden campaign official described the incident as an attempt to slow down that bus and run it off the road as it was heading from San Antonio to Austin, Texas. Investigators say staffers on the bus, they called 911, which eventually led to local law enforcement assisting the bus to its destination. No one was hurt. In a tweet Sunday, the president said, quote, "In my opinion, these patriots did nothing wrong. Instead, the FBI and justice should be investigating the terrorists, anarchists, and agitators of Antifa who run around burning our Democrat-run cities and hurting our people."
In Wisconsin, the teen who killed 2 people and injured a third during protests over the police shooting of Jacob Blake is now in jail. Illinois judge ordered the extradition of Kyle Rittenhouse on Friday. Rittenhouse had been in an Illinois juvenile detention center since August when he was arrested. Police say that he admitted to shooting, quote, 2 white kids and, quote, ending a man's life. The shooting was captured on video, but his lawyers argue that it was in self-defense. Rittenhouse is facing multiple charges, including first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree reckless homicide, and attempted first-degree intentional homicide. If convicted, he would face life in prison.
The time now is 5:16. An anonymous, partially sequestered jury will hear the trial of singer R. Kelly. The R&B singer, as you know, is facing federal charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. The federal judge overseeing this case says she agrees with prosecutors that the singer, whose real name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, has an alleged history of obstructing justice. The 53-year-old is accused of trying to influence jurors during a 2008 trial in which he was acquitted of child pornography charges. Kelly's trial was scheduled to begin in September, but was delayed in part due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There is currently no set date for this trial to begin. Lauren?
Rafael, if you want to take a winter vacation, you could head down to Peru. The country is celebrating the reopening of the Inca stone citadel of Machu Picchu Sunday night. The historic site has been closed for 7 months due to the pandemic. The long closure hammered the local economy there. It marked just the second time that Machu Picchu has been shut down since it opened its doors to tourism back in 1948. First time it was in 2010 when torrential and prolonged rains forced its closure. To be in compliance with COVID-19 safety measures and protocols, this site will allow for a limited 30% admission capacity. That's about 675 visitors a day. The site usually sees around 3,000 tourists each day. Back here at home, it is 5:17 and it is cold here on a Monday, Todd.
You know, by far that's the biggest headline that we'll have not only today, but really this entire week, in the sense that temperatures haven't been this cold since earlier in the spring, as many of us are sitting in the 20s with wind chills down into the teens. So it's very, very chilly this morning. As we get into the afternoon hours, the skies will be sunny. That's the good news. If you're in the sunshine, I don't think it'll be all that bad for you. The winds will be fairly light. If you're in the shade, or if you're out later in the afternoon when the sun starts to go down, it will get pretty chilly fairly quickly, and then this evening will be pretty cool, but the skies will be clear. Now, yesterday when you were waking up around this time, we were in the process of seeing that cold front go through. Well, temperatures right now are about 20 to 25 degrees colder than they were 24 hours ago. With that 25-degree temperature difference in Indianapolis. That puts us, instead of in the low 50s, in the mid to upper 20s here this morning. 27 is the current temperature in Indy, as well as Bloomington. Lafayette's at 25 degrees, as is Richmond. Wind chill values down in the teens in many locales. Now, there's a little bit of high thin cloud cover that is out there currently across the area. That will move out, and we'll have just those sun-filled skies for the day today. Look at those snow showers off to the east in Pennsylvania, as well as into parts of New York. But the Midwest is very, very chilly, so there's just not a whole lot of warming that's going to take place throughout the day today, as highs will be topping off in the upper 40s to maybe low 50s in a few locations. Marion at about 47 today, 51 in Frankfort, Anderson at 48 degrees, central portions of the state 49 in Indy, 51 the high temperature today in Martinsville, then low 50s here to the south from Bloomington over towards the Columbus area. Now, tomorrow is going to be a day that features lots of sunshine. Pay no attention to this windy part. I forgot to take that off from the weekend. But the temperatures are accurate for tomorrow, getting up to 61 degrees for your election day with lots of sunshine. So there's no weather-related issues for us on election day. If you do have to stand in the line, just know, obviously, if you're heading out in the morning hours, it's going to be cooler. You'll need to have the jacket handy, but no threat of any precipitation for the day tomorrow. And then here's the warming trend. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 66 degrees. By Friday, we're up to 68. And take a look at these temperatures for the first full weekend in November, as we'll be looking at highs all the way up into the low 70s for both Saturday and Sunday. And at this point, it looks dry. So overall, it's a dry week for us, Lauren, with a nice warming trend heading our way.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are monitoring a crash right now. It's down on the south side here at I-465 and State Road 37 at the Harding Street exit. If you look closely, you can see it is over here in the right lane of traffic. Looks like traffic here down on the south side is still traveling up to speed. This is impacting the westbound side of the interstate. A little bit of a delay there. It looks like maybe right behind this crash, but then things are moving along just fine. So we're going to keep our eyes on this spot and see if things back up at all. And of course, we'll keep you updated. Rafael?
Keep us posted on that, Lauren. Thank you. Gas prices are dropping across the country. Average prices under $2 in 20 states, including right here in Indiana. Here are the details. Prices at the pump are now down to levels not seen nationwide in more than 4 months. Many of the lowest prices are in the southeast and, of course, right here in the Midwest. Industry experts say the current trend indicates those lower prices will soon be available to the rest of the nation. Now, oil prices are said to be falling partly because of concerns over the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. The drop is also partly due to the fact that prices typically go down as we move into fall and winter. Lauren?
Well, Raphael, majority of unemployed Americans think there's a negative stigma associated with unemployment, but experts say at LinkedIn say that our current situation has really changed that. Nearly all hiring managers tell LinkedIn that they would take on a candidate who was laid off during the pandemic. Right now, only about half of unemployed Americans say they're posting about it on social media, that they're looking for a job. Many don't want to disclose their job status, but LinkedIn says it's a good place to start. Telling family and friends what type of job you're looking for can actually help connect you to the right person.
So let's talk about hiring Hoosiers. On this Monday, Lowe's looking to hire 20,000 associates to help the company get through the holiday season. The positions are both full and part-time. The home improvement store is looking to fill positions at both stores and its distribution centers, and some roles will be permanent, we're told. The company also announced Friday that it's giving out an additional $100 million in bonuses. They're to thank frontline hourly workers and help support their families during the holiday season.
Well, most of the country set their clocks back yesterday. The time change may be having more of an impact, though, on people who are working from home. With no commute, you may be missing out on some morning sun. Doctors say that it can be an important part of jump-starting your day. They suggest trying to step outside for a few minutes when the sun comes up instead. But since there's no commute working from home, it can mean getting better sleep. Since it gets dark out earlier, it can also mean that it's a little bit easier to wind down after work. Unfortunately, Raphael, and my commute and Todd's commute, there's never any sun, so it doesn't make a difference to us.
Well, listen, looking outside my living room, still no sun. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, no sun, but it'll come out shortly. A refrigerator-sized asteroid headed for Earth's atmosphere. Say what? Coming up, why scientists say there is no need, Lauren, for you or Todd to panic.
Whew. All right, well, just ahead here on Good Morning Indiana, voters are getting mixed messages about whether or not they can change how they vote. What you can do if you no longer want to vote absentee. It is 5:23. We'll be right back.
So it's not a plane, no, it's not a bird, and it's not even Superman. Instead, it's a refrigerator-sized asteroid that'll get pretty close to Earth as it zooms by today. Astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson says it may even graze our atmosphere, but it's nothing to worry about. Even though a refrigerator-sized asteroid flying through space sounds big, Tyson says it's not big enough to do any harm. According to NASA, even if it completely entered our atmosphere, it would just disintegrate because of its small size. NASA has been tracking this asteroid, Todd, since 2018. Hopefully no impact on your great forecast today, right?
No, and thankfully it's small. We don't have to summon Bruce Willis to get up there and go destroy like Armageddon. So, all right.
I like that, yeah.
All right. All right, outside right now, it's chilly. The coldest morning we have seen since mid-April. I just looked it up. April 16, we got down to 24 degrees. We're in the 20s here this morning. The good news in the forecast today, lots of sunshine. The bad news, still below normal. Your noontime temperature gets up to 42 degrees, and as we transition into the afternoon, we'll be anywhere from about 45 to 50 degrees. There will be a little bit of a breeze that'll start to kick in as the day goes on that you'll have to contend with, but overall a decent day. Now, the better news in this forecast is not today, it's in the coming days as a nice warming trend heads our way. We'll break that down for you coming up in the next half hour of Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now at 5:30, the Indiana National Guard beginning their mission to help nursing homes battle COVID-19, how their efforts are working to protect the most vulnerable.
And voters getting mixed messages about whether or not they can change how they vote. WRTV investigates what you can do if you no longer want to vote absentee. Here at 5:31, I want to thank you for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. Todd Clausen and Raphael Sanchez joining me early this morning. And it is chilly out there, but Raphael, I was just looking at your pictures on Halloween. Beautiful weather. And you guys did the creative little clothesline thing with the treats out there. Very socially distant, very COVID friendly. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, We put out candy on the clothesline on Saturday, clothing out on Monday. But right. Lauren, more importantly, right, on this Monday morning, it is great to see that Todd Clausen's weather forecast has numbers that reflect our age. I love fall.
Oh, yes.
They're going to stay below your age the entire day, Raphael. They'll get close to my age. And Lauren's in great shape, but I'm with you on that.
Hopefully
one,
we're in good shape there.
we're in good shape here. So what do you need to grab before you go? Well, you definitely need, for the first time, really required this morning, the hat and gloves for the kids going off to the bus stop. Wind chills are in the teens in many locations. I probably should change just a heavy jacket, and then sunglasses. That's the good news in the forecast today, as we will have sunshine throughout much of the day. But look at these temperatures statewide. Everybody is in the 20s with the exception of Evansville. They're right at the freezing mark, 32, 27 in Bloomington, Indy. 26 is the current temperature as you make your way into the Fort Wayne area. Wind chill readings in the teens in some locations, so definitely need to bundle up. Just a little bit of cloud cover trying to build in. Those are just some clouds drifting in off of Lake Michigan. The sun will win out, though, as it comes up earlier, just after 7 o'clock here now with the time change over the weekends. Lots of sunshine today. Temperatures, though, only in the mid-40s, but the 60s, they are in our near future. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. We do have a traffic alert for drivers now on the south side. We mentioned that crash on the westbound right lane of I-465 near State Road 37, the Harding Street exit. And you're looking at it there off in the distance. And behind that crash, you can see slow traffic, a lot of headlights there, the backup stretching past US 31 East Street down there on the south side. And it looks like traffic is still getting by, but very slowly, maybe just one car at a time. So keep that in mind. This is something we'll continue to monitor, and we'll let you know if you need to reroute this morning. But I'd say right now, just give yourself an extra 5 minutes. We want to get to some breaking news. We are following those this morning here downtown. Metro Police say a person is dead after a shooting. Police were called out to East New York Street between Alabama and New Jersey streets on reports of a person down. Officers say that person was dead of a gunshot wound when they arrived at the scene, and that's all police have said so far. We will continue to follow this breaking news story, and we'll have more information for you just as soon as it comes into our newsroom. Raphael?
The time now is 5:34. The state facing nearly 6,000 new COVID-19 cases over the weekend. The state health department reported more than 2,700 new cases on Sunday, 3,200 on Saturday. Indiana has recorded more than 182,000 cases since the pandemic began. The weekend did show a decrease in confirmed deaths. 28 were reported Sunday, 26 on Saturday. October was one of the deadliest months during this pandemic. It's an effort to save the lives of the most vulnerable Hoosiers, Lauren, right here in our state.
Yeah, today the National Guard troops are being deployed statewide to long-term care facilities. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is joining us live with more details on their mission. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So yeah, more than 400 soldiers are trained and ready to go to help long-term care facilities across the state stop the spread of COVID-19. Now, the training happened Friday at Camp Atterbury. That's where they learned about testing, infection control procedures, visitation protocol, and much more. Nursing home residents make up nearly 60% of Indiana's COVID-19 deaths, and Guard members and leaders say while this mission is not standard, they are ready and eager to get to work.
I feel good about it. It'll be good to be able to get out there and get in situations and areas that really do need the help. Personally, for my own health and things like that, I'm not concerned. I mean, it's kind of with the job. That's what you do.
Well, one of the things that we recognize is that this is a non-standard mission or a non-standard set of tasks for our soldiers. They don't normally do these things if that's not particularly what they were trained to do in the military. But at the end of the day, they're citizen soldiers.
So Indiana National Guard members will work in 133 long-term care facilities starting today, and eventually over the next 3 weeks, they'll expand to all of the state's facilities. Now, Governor Holcomb ordered the deployment on Wednesday during his weekly COVID-19 press briefing, and over the next 3 weeks, like I said, the National Guard will be going to every single long-term care facility across the state. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 5:36 on your Monday, and today is your last chance to vote early early before Election Day, which is set for tomorrow. Make sure you plan ahead, though, because the only open location in Marion County today is the clerk's office at the City County building. Sunday was the last day for early voting at 6 satellite locations across the county. That includes Lucas Oil Stadium. The stadium was added over the weekend to help cut down on the long lines and wait times. According to the clerk's office, 7,497 people voted there. A total of 211,262 people have voted early in person in Marion County. That's compared to just over 67,000 in the year 2016.
Yes, it's worth the wait. Yes, we're trying to let our voice be heard. Yes, it's worth the wait.
Was this the day that you just made a plan and you decided you were going to get out and make sure no matter how long it takes?
Yes, I made that decision.
If you plan to vote today, the City County building is only open from 8 a.m. until noon. Absentee ballots must be turned in by noon on Tuesday to the Marion County Election Board in order to be counted here.
So 2 free services to get you to the polls tomorrow. First, Indigo will offer free rides on Tuesday, and the Pacers Bike Share program will be free for the first hour of use on Tuesday. Indianapolis Cultural Trail, Inc., which operates Pacers Bike Shares program, says they're doing it to give people a free and fun way to get to their polling location. There are over 50 stations located in downtown Indianapolis and surrounding neighborhoods as well. You can find them by downloading the Bicycle app. Any trip over 60 minutes will be 15 cents per minute.
And if you need a car to get to your voting center, Hertz is willing to rent you one for free. They're kicking off their Drive the Vote program today. If you rent a vehicle today for 2 or more days, you'll get 1 day at no cost.
WRTV Investigates has learned that voters in some counties are being told that they cannot change how they vote if they already requested an absentee ballot. Here are the details from this investigation. Charlotte Hess of Bloomington applied for an absentee ballot because she's over the age of 65. But she's concerned about lag times involving mail-in ballots, so she decided to vote early in person instead. However, when Charlotte called the Monroe County Election Office, they told her she could not change her mind. At least 2 nonpartisan groups agree Indiana's election statute allows you to vote early in person, even if you've previously requested to vote by mail.
You should be able to simply hand your absentee ballot over to the polling place inspector at the early voting location. Tell them you have changed your mind. They will take that ballot from you and allow you to vote in person. We don't need to make voters jump through multiple hoops to exercise their constitutional right to vote.
The Indiana Election Division and the Secretary of State's office interpret the statute differently. They say a voter can vote in person if their original absentee ballot is lost, spoiled, or defective. Also, on Election Day itself, you can surrender your absentee ballot and vote in person. If you want to hand deliver your absentee ballot to your county, just remember, this is key. It must be done by noon tomorrow. If you have voting problems, the number to call is 866-OUR-VOTE.
And a reminder, WRTV has everything you need to know to be prepared for Election Day. Go to our Election 2020 digital section of our website. There you'll find who's on your ballot, where you can vote, and any other questions you might have this election season. Again, it's all at WRTV.com/election2020. Let's get a check of our forecast right now. Todd Clausen and Todd, hopefully everyone has unplugged the hoses from their houses because it's starting to get kind of cold out there.
Yeah, you know, this morning is the coldest temperatures we have seen across most of the area, at least for Indianapolis, than we have seen since the middle of April earlier in this year, as a hard freeze is taking place this morning all across the entire area. Now, a freeze warning is posted just south of our area, and I point this out because once a freeze warning gets issued by the National Weather Service once, it considers the growing season over. That's why even though temperatures are just as cold in central Indiana as they are in southern Indiana, we don't have the freeze warnings in place because we've all had them already. So this will likely end the freeze warnings in southern locations. Despite the very cold start this morning with temperatures in the 20s, highs generally right around 50 degrees later on this afternoon. We'll talk more about the warm-up heading our way for the remainder of the week coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. A multi-million-dollar settlement has been reached over some defective refrigerators. Coming up, how you can get part of the money if you own one of these LGs.
And Lauren, a local company offering a new program to address a shortage in EMTs. An inside look at their training and how they are helping to hire Hoosiers. That and much more coming up on this Monday, right here on Good Morning Indiana.
Welcome back. We are monitoring a crash right now that could slow down your south side commute. Take a look here, a live picture from I-465 and State Road 37, the Harding Street exit. We have a crash in the westbound right lanes right now. Traffic is getting by barely in looks like a left lane, but occasionally no vehicles are getting by, so keep that in mind if you're traveling through the area. Taking a look at our map at this hour, traffic in the westbound lanes backed up all the way past I-65 down there on the south side. So you may want to avoid this spot. You may want to use streets like Southport Road as a detour instead. We'll continue to keep a close eye on this and keep you updated. Raphael.
So, Lauren, let me take you south on I-65 to Jackson County. New information this morning on a police shooting in Seymour. Police were called to a Walmart near the intersection of Tipton Street and Burkhart Boulevard. This around 8:30 last night on the report of a theft. Now, when police arrived, the suspect, we're told, fled. According to police, the man hid in a ditch near the Taco Bell, was armed when two Seymour officers fired their weapons. The suspect was taken to the hospital where he later died. Indiana State Police has been requested to investigate this incident. The man who was shot and the officers involved have not been identified. Also developing this morning, the Marion County Coroner's Office is working to identify a man found in the White River. Investigators say someone called dispatch around 12:45 Sunday afternoon to report the body in the water. Emergency crews responded to the scene on West Washington Street, that's near the Indianapolis Zoo. Indiana conservation officers are now handling this investigation. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Marion County Coroner's Office. That number is 317-327-4744. Lauren?
Raphael, what kind of refrigerator do you have in your kitchen? Do you have one like this? Appliance maker LG has agreed to settle a multi-million-dollar class action lawsuit after finding defects with their refrigerator. Reporter Jackie Calloway explains how you may be eligible for some of that money.
According to a class action lawsuit, hundreds of consumers reported problems with dozens of models of LG refrigerators made between 2014 and 2017.
Not even 6 months into having it, all of a sudden I didn't have ice. And then 2 days later, my whole freezer is defrosted.
Dolores Falco, a mother of three and one of the plaintiffs, said her LG fridge broke down 15 times between 2016 and 2020.
You've lost how much?
Probably a good $2,000, maybe $2,500 worth of food.
Attorneys who filed the suit say they documented hundreds of similar complaints.
And after they had bought this rather expensive LG refrigerator, that the refrigerator would just completely stop cooling.
Plaintiff's attorney Amy Parks says the settlement affects the owners of dozens of models, and more than 1.5 million people may be eligible to file a claim. Owners may be entitled to 100% of the money spent on labor and parts, up to $1,000 for delayed repairs, and as much as $3,500 for lost food and or property damage.
And I haven't had ice since May.
We reached out to LG but have not heard back. According to the lawsuit, the company denied any wrongdoing but agreed to settle in the interest of the consumers and to avoid protracted litigation.
Now, the deadline to file a claim is January 11th, and payouts are expected to come later in 2021.
And that was Jackie Calloway reporting. Today, the Indianapolis Indians and Gleaners Food Bank are teaming up to distribute food to people in need. It's part of Gleaners and the Women, Infants, and Children's programs No One Runs on Empty campaign. Distribution is drive-through style, and families are asked to enter the parking lot using the West Street entrance. Workers will then deliver boxed goods to their vehicles. The event runs from 1 to 4 this afternoon. It is 5:48, and it is cold and early on a Monday. Todd, what can people expect today?
Yeah, definitely need to bundle up as you walk out the door this morning, and that's the big headline, at least for the first half of our day. As we get into the second half of our day, temperatures will be below normal, but not all that bad. But overall, it's a very quiet week of weather for us. We don't really have any rainfall heading our way this entire week, and it gets warmer each day this week as well. And by the time we get to the end of the week, we are looking at temperatures that are going to be up right around 70 degrees. So I know it's cold this morning. You definitely need to bundle up, but there are definitely warmer days ahead. But first things first, we have to get through this Monday before we can get those warmer temperatures in here. We are at 27 right now. Thankfully, the winds have really calmed from where they were yesterday when we had those gusts up to 30, 40 miles per hour. Only right now at 7 miles per hour out of the west, but it's making it feel like 19 degrees. That's the current wind chill value, a real feel temperature. And everybody's within a couple degrees of each other, from 25 in Richmond to 27, Martinsville, Bloomington to the Bedford area. 25 is the current temperature in Lafayette. You factor in the wind, and there's some teens out there this morning. 18 in Lafayette as well as Peru. 19 is what it feels like here in Indianapolis. The sunshine from start to finish throughout the day today. There's just a few fair weather clouds out there this morning, but as soon as the sun comes up, we'll burn those off. At 11 a.m., we're at 39 degrees, so we're still in the 30s at 11 a.m. Your noontime temperature takes us into the 40s. And then once we get from 2 o'clock onward, we'll hold pretty steady right around 46 to 47 degrees for your temperature. So it's definitely a cooler day, but it's a bright day for us. And it does remain a little breezy today. So you'll definitely need the jacket throughout the entire day. And just keep in mind, I'm sure you noticed it yesterday with sunset occurring earlier. You're going to lose that daylight and the warmth from the sun a little bit quicker in the afternoon and evening hours. Here's just some clouds drifting in off of Lake Michigan. Again, they'll fizzle away very quickly. I mentioned that sunset 5:41 this evening. Clear skies, temperatures will be in the 40s. You wake up tomorrow morning, we're in the 30s, so it's not quite as cold. In fact, about 10 degrees warmer tomorrow morning than it is right now, and then we'll continue that warming trend. Your election day forecast, it's a real nice one for us. We have lots of sunshine throughout the entire day. Temperatures will be up right around 60 degrees, so no weather-related issues whatsoever. And take a look at the 7-day planning forecast. Not bad for the first week of November. We'll be in the mid-60s for Wednesday and Thursday, and then look at those temperatures heading into the weekend, as highs will be all the way up to right around 70 degrees. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you. We are monitoring a south side crash, creating a big backup for drivers here on 465. Here's a live look at the scene. You see the flashing lights. Crash cleanup ongoing in the right westbound lane here by 465 at State Road 37, the Harding Street exit. So occasionally traffic is moving past this in the left lanes. Every now and then it comes to a stop. That's creating a traffic jam from here at Harding Street all the way back past the I-65 ramp system down there on the south side. So a long backup stretching along the south side, heading in the westbound direction. Plan ahead and give yourself that extra time. You can even head down to roads like Southport Road, take that traveling west, and then get back on at Harding Street and State Road 37 to avoid this pocket of delays. Raphael?
Listen to Lauren, she'll get you there on time. If you're looking this morning to make a career change or looking for that new job, Hiring Hoosiers is ready to connect you on this Monday morning. Careers in emergency medicine are being launched inside a former industrial building on the east side of Indianapolis. SEALS Ambulance Services is headquartered on Roosevelt Avenue, that's near Mass Ave and Rule Street. Most of the company's work involves transferring hospital patients home or to other medical facilities. But being an emergency medical technician can be an emotional job, making it difficult for the industry to find enough workers.
You see a lot of tough stuff, so you got to be able to tolerate seeing that and being able to help others, because you see people at their worst times.
19-year-old Anthony Weed is part of a SEALS training program that's helping address the shortage. Applicants can become an EMT in 8 weeks while getting paid to learn.
We pay for the tuition, testing fees, and any course materials. They are also considered a full-time employee of the company. They are given what's called a training wage, and they're also eligible for full-time benefits.
Dr. Simmons, thank you. When training is over, students must take state and national exams. Starting pay for EMTs is about $30,000 per year, plus overtime. And the position is often a stepping stone to other careers in healthcare. Now this morning, for more information about this, please go to our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
A nonprofit is making sure voters are fed on Election Day. Just after the break, how they're partnering with local restaurants to offer meals at the polls for free. It's 5:54 on your Monday. We'll be right back. It is 5:56 on your Monday. We're keeping a close eye on your commute, and right now we're monitoring a major slowdown on the south side due to this crash here in the westbound right lane of I-465 at State Road 37 and Harding Street. Delays there on the westbound side stretch back past I-65. So a major slowdown for south side commuters. We'll continue to monitor this scene and keep you updated. So World Central Kitchen is partnering up with local restaurants to make sure that you aren't hungry while you're waiting in line at the polls tomorrow. Raphael.
This is really a great cause, and they're serving free meals near voting sites as part of an initiative called Chefs for the Polls. The group is sharing meals with anyone, no questions asked, in more than 200 cities across the country, including right here in Indianapolis. World Central Kitchen says using the power of food, they aim to, quote, make Election Day one of community and one of hope. Let's check to see what Todd Clausen is cooking up in his weather office. Todd, we hope it's something nice and toasty for later in the day.
Yeah, you know, later in the day, we are going to see temperatures well above freezing. This morning, though, we're all below freezing. You see on both sides of me, temperatures in the 20s. The good news is no precipitation with these sub-freezing temperatures. You don't have to worry about that. Just bundle up as you walk out the door. Mid-40s here this afternoon with plenty of sunshine throughout the day. And with the time change this weekend, keep in mind sunset later on tonight. 5:41. More news headlines as well as your full weather forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues at 6 o'clock.